on a whoa. Um, are we getting crashed right now? Is this who I think it is?
Dark Sidious.
Oh my gosh. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Nation Show. Surprise guest, the world's strongest man, Mark Henry. Mark, how the heck are you?
Oh, I'm doing all right, man. I'm sitting out on my front porch, social distancing from my family before I kill somebody.
Oh my goodness, man. Are you going to be on Busted Open tomorrow morning, sir?
I sure am. And we got a bunch of announcements that's going to happen in the show. There's so much to talk about. There's so many times that I don't get a chance to do these type of things. This is actually my first time. It took me 45 minutes to figure out how to get on the damn thing. And I'm not the technology guy, but here I am. I'm on here.
Welcome, Mr. Henry.
Mr. Henry, it's definitely a welcome. It is a welcome. This is Joe in North Carolina, sir. It is great to have you on.
North Carolina.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good, man. You gotta stop with the sir shit.
Oh, my mama
Mr.
taught
Henry.
me call.
Okay, Mr. Henry, you know, Mr. Henry, you're correct. Mr. Henry, you're correct, but it's hard. It's hard for a military guy to get used to not calling somebody he respects since I'm going to say since I was 16, sir. Ever since I found out that you can clean and jerk over 1,000 pounds, sir.
Incredible.
My goodness.
Well, I can squat over 1,000. My best clean and jerk, or best clean was 530, but my best clean and jerk was 502.
Oh,
so it's about half of that.
I usually jerk and clean, but neither way.
Family show, standing family show.
It's not a family show. Jimmy Korderas said bullshit or something. It's not a family show. Get out of here.
Hey.
Yeah, but now we're streaming on YouTube, and we've got other things. Mr. Henry, I gotta ask you this question, sir. After NXT last night, Keith Lee again retaining the NXT championship, but sir, Keith Lee does the best move out of any wrestling move on the face of the earth, and I believe he learned it from you, where you take another MFer and you hit another MFer with an MFer, sir.
The Battle Club.
I really do think, sir, that he owes you some money for copyright infringement because I've seen you do it a couple times, sir. I've seen you do it with enhancement talent, but
I enjoy seeing people do stuff. Plagiarism is the biggest form of flattery in pro wrestling.
Sure.
Mark, absolutely. I have to ask you, sir. We just had brother Jimmy Korderas on. I hope you got to hear any of that. Can you please take us back behind the curtain a little bit? What's your relationship with Jimmy? And did you ever have the pleasure of having Jimmy in any of your matches?
Oh my God, Jimmy had a lot of matches, and I used to always say, "Come on, no hair, this Korderas." He would be like, "I have a little bit of hair, Mark. Come on." And I'd be like, "You're a horrible ref." I know, but I'm stealing money, and it's okay. And I'm like, "Oh God." Jimmy kept me laughing, man. He reffed so many matches. I bet that in my career he reffed probably 200 matches or more.
Wow.
Maybe more than that.
Absolutely. Well, Mark, as Joe just said, last night we had NXT and we had AEW. I'm sure you heard the show this morning. Dave and Bully spent a lot of time talking about the differences that just having 4 or 5 people on each side of the ring makes when you're filming something like that. Did you see the same thing last night when those matches? Did you see NXT maybe feel a little bit more cave-like and hollow, and AEW just those handful of people making it feel a little bit livelier?
You know what, man? It's like being in training when you first start wrestling. You're standing around the ring, and you got 2 guys in the ring, a coach is in the ring, and they're barking orders. You'd be surprised at what 5 or 6 people saying something or reacting to something would make. I don't criticize either way. I think that it's up to the guys on NXT and Raw and SmackDown to talk to the camera and talk to Michael Cole or whoever's announcing. Talk to them. Get out of the ring. Go and use them. Talk to the referee. You know, some people talk to themselves. Randy Orton, hear voices. Talk to yourself.
Yep.
Like, I mean, there's many options you could do. It's just that I think that this is a time when I started doing studio wrestling. So, like my real wrestling career being in Memphis with Jerry Lawler, these guys don't know how to work in studios because they're so used to working in front of a crowd that, you know, there being no crowd and just technical people is different. And it's no knock on them. They're not supposed to wrestle in front of no people. This is the weirdest damn time in the history of pro wrestling.
Isn't it, though? It's crazy.
And anybody that complains or tries to make it a competition between the two, they're ignorant.
Right.
Like, you got to enjoy the fact that we're the only show in town.
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood shut down. All sports shut down. And I'll be on Mad Dog Sports tomorrow after Busted Open.
What show?
And
The Morning Men?
Morning Men.
Oh, my goodness gracious. You're going to talk to Michael Babchak?
Yeah, I'm going to kick his ass.
No.
World's Strongest Slam through the pronounce table.
Through the phone. I'm going to choke him with one of the fiber optics.
There you go.
But the whole deal is everybody's asking me, why is it that the WWE is doing what it's doing and everybody else can't replicate it? And I told them, I said, you do realize that all of sports replicates pro wrestling.
Right.
From the whole term Broadway is not a term that came from New York theater district. The term Broadway is an hour-long wrestling match. The history of wrestling goes well beyond. There were matches going on during the Civil War to entertain the troops. So I mean, there's so many things that have happened that supersede Broadway or movies and television. You look at every third commercial.
Right.
Every third commercial is something about wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Look at all the movies that have been made about pro wrestling. You got enough movies that were made about pro wrestling to last you a week of watching movies. And you look at what's going on in NFL, how they took things from the XFL because they made sense. It's like we do stuff, all of the players want to be us. They talk like us. They cut promos like us. You look at the Super Bowl this year. Who opened the Super Bowl? The Rock.
Yep.
We give credibility. We give flair. We give energy and a level of
excitement,
psychology in the entertainment that you don't get anywhere else.
Right.
So I don't see, you know, I answer those questions with letting them know that wrestling preceded everything else. Right. There was no NBA when pro wrestling started. There's a documentation of wrestling matches in 1860.
Right. During the Civil War.
Come on, man. Huh. I mean, people were doing, I mean, there's been what we call a work with shoot matches since the beginning of time, since the Olympics.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it goes on and on. Like, wrestling is well far and beyond everything, and it will be well far and beyond everything when it's all over with.
Absolutely. Standing, go ahead.
Yeah, you mentioned there's a lot of wrestlers that have not worked the studio aspect of things and might not even know what it's like to perform in front of a no fans, no crowd. What's one tip you would give to those wrestlers performing in front of nobody?
Your eyes and your expression tells a lot. And if somebody is beating me and I'm hurting and I look at the camera and I reach into the camera and I mumble, "Help me," the people at home will feel me just like if they were standing next to me.
Yes.
I mean, how many times have you been lost in a movie and you think you remember War of the Worlds?
Yes.
The remake that Tom Cruise did?
Right.
At one point in that movie, I was sitting there going, what the hell are we going to do? I got caught up. And that's what I tried to do when I wrestled is I tried to emotionally reach into people's living rooms and get them.
Right.
And I never really had to look directly into the camera, but now is the time where I can hold somebody's face to the turnbuckle or press it into the pole or press it into the ropes and look directly in the camera and say, you can't do anything about it.
Right.
And now people at home like, shit. Referee, stop it. Do something. And that's wrestling. It's psychology based. And you got to be able to tell stories with action. Go look at a Charlie Chaplin movie. No sound.
No sound. And
you get everything.
Right.
That's what the guys need to aspire to, Charlie Chaplin.
Mark, in going along with that, the challenges that all of these talents and performers and referees are going to have this weekend in front of limited or no crowd whatsoever, I wanted to ask you, which match do you think will do the best under the circumstances without a crowd? And let's not count the ones that are, like the Firefly Funhouse match or the Boneyard match, because we know that special effects and camera work will be able to pull those off. But in front of the arena, in the ring, in front of nobody, which match do you think actually has the least amount of mountain to climb?
I think both the women's matches are going to tell beautiful stories because the people working them are just that damn good. And Brock and Drew is going to paint a picture that is, it's been a while since
Step up, bring it